I'm Steph.
And I'm Vicki.
And we make do-it-yourself videos at motherdaughterprojects.com.
In this workshop, we're going to share how to make this fun fall DIY, which is sure to add a lot of curb appeal to your home.
All the materials can be found at the Home Depot or around your house. Let's do this.
Step 1. Gather materials and tools. You will need a plywood project panel that is 2 feet by 4 feet, a 1-inch wood dowel, and PVC pipe, a large paint stick, a 6-gallon metal trash can with lid, a package of 1-inch 2-hole straps, a few screws, fence post mix, a piece of paper, orange spray paint, dark spray paint, and green acrylic.
The tools we're using are a jigsaw, 2 clamps, orbital sander, wood glue, hot glue gun, a saw, personal protective equipment, tape measure, scissors, pencil, PVC cutter, and optional brad nailer. And not pictured, but you'll need a drill or screwdriver.
Step 2. Use the bucket lid as a guide to make a paper template. Cut it out, fold it in half, and set it aside. We'll get back to that later. Step 3. Now, use the lid again, but this time trace it onto your plywood. Don't put it too close to the edge like we did, as the wood may tear out as you cut. Trace 2 circles, being mindful of the grain. Inside the second circle, mark a 1/2 inch from the edge. This will be the cut line for the smaller circle.
Step 4. Clamp the wood to a solid surface. Make sure you're wearing your PPE dust mask, eye protection, and hearing protection. Begin cutting out the first circle. Remember, this doesn't have to be perfect because no 2 pumpkins are alike. Also, if your jigsaw is adjustable, you can slow down the speed for more accuracy. We have found that we get the best results using a brand new jigsaw blade made for wood. Move on to cutting out the second circle, making sure to cut on the inside line that you marked. We will sand the edges in the next step so imperfections can be improved. Step 5. Use the folded paper pattern and mark the center of the large circle as well as the smaller circle. Make sure the small circle center is parallel to the grain. Cut the smaller circle in half on the line that you just marked.
Step 6. Sand the rounds to soften the edges. We actually clamped a battery-powered orbital sander upside down here to make it a little easier to maneuver. The rounded edges help that pumpkin really to take shape. We sanded the edges with 80 grit. With the edges completed, we sanded the front slightly with 120 grit.
Step 7. Lay the larger circle right side down, being mindful that the grain is running up and down. Place the 2 halves on each side, pulling them out until the top and bottom edges are even with the larger circle. The halves are about 2 3/8 from the center line. Step 8. Use a miter box or saw of your choice to cut a large paint stick about 5 inches with a diagonal cut on the top for the stem. Cut another piece around 2 1/2 inch long from the large paint stick. The 2 pieces will be glued together, making a stop block for the wood dowel. Sand any rough edges.
Step 9. Glue the pumpkin halves and stem in place. You can leave large weights on top and let dry, or you can add brad nails, which will hold the pieces together while the glue dries, and you can move on to the next step.
Step 10. Spray paint the pumpkin front and back. We are using Color Shot Orange Slice for the traditional looking pumpkin, but you're welcome to pick whatever color you like. Be mindful not to add too much spray paint, as we want the grain of the plywood to still show through.
Step 11. Remove labels from the bucket and clean with WD-40 or your favorite method if there is sticky residue. If you want to change the color or add features to the bucket, this is the perfect time to do that. Step 12. Hot glue the PVC pipe in the middle of the bottom of the bucket. We will cut the excess PVC in a later step.
Once that dries, you want to prep your post mix. This is the mix we're using right here, and it becomes basically like a foam consistency once it's completely done, and it's not too heavy, but it's nice and secure. So what you want to do with this is you actually want to read all the instructions before you get started, because this is a chemical reaction and it happens really fast. So you read them all, kind of go through the steps before you actually break the seal of this, so you're set up for success. Now I want to show you, we actually have done this twice, and this right here, this bucket has the full mixture inside, and you can see it all fits nicely, but it does expand a little bit above the top. And in this bucket here, we actually left a little bit of the mixture out, and you can see that it's nice and pretty much level with the top of the bucket. So this is what we're going to try to attempt to do today, but if you're not comfortable with that move, you can put the whole thing in and it will work perfectly. Now, one note, if you use a bucket different than ours, you want to make sure you do the math to see that the mixture will fit in your bucket. So this is my bucket ready to go with the PVC in place, and this is my excess bucket that'll pour the excess in so that it's not left in the bag, because you don't want to do that. All right, so I'm going to get my goggles on here, and I'm going to get my chemical resistant gloves. All right, so I'm going to bust the seal here, and then I'm going to mix it for 15 seconds.
After 15 seconds, cut the bag open. I'm being mindful to not pour the whole bag in and pour the excess into my spare bucket. Keep in mind this pours quickly out of the bag and has a watery gel-like consistency. This is a chemical reaction and the bucket will get really hot, so step back and just watch the foam expand like magic. Step 14. Once the foam stops expanding and starts to firm up and has cooled off a bit, cut the excess PVC off. Keep the cutoff piece handy as we'll be using that in a sec. Step 15. Grab your pumpkin and wood dowel, put the dowel in place, and secure it with the 2-hole straps. We found the dowel cut at 39 inches is a great height, but check it out in your space before cutting the dowel to see what height works best for you. Cut the dowel with a miter box or saw of your choice.
Step 16, paint the dowel. A good tip here is to clamp the extra piece of PVC to your work table and put the dowel inside, making it easy to paint. Don't forget to paint the stem of your pumpkin the same color. Step 17, with that dry, now it's time to get creative and decorate. This is your chance to use the items you already have around your house or in your fall decor storage. The foam is perfect to hold silk flowers. Here we are filling in the extra space with sheet moss. You can buy or make a sign from the extra plywood or use a found piece of pallet wood like we did. Make it your own. This can be used all fall, but with an easy, quick change, you can change the look for Halloween.
For something a little spookier, look no further than your yard for a dead stick. You can use the Color Shot Smolder spray paint to add a pop of color to your stick. And tip, cover your bucket with a plastic garbage bag and use this as a stand while you spray paint. And again, decorate with items from your house or even from your yard, like the Spanish moss we gathered. You can even get the kids involved making some spooky ghosts.
And you know, this doesn't just have to be used for the fall season. You can actually take the top part off and you can make any kind of other display you want for the next holiday season.
We can't wait to see how you personalize this for your own family.
Thanks for joining us. Bye.
Bye.